What is going on, guys? What I believe is going to be the final season patch for Season 2 of Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising has dropped. And as with basically every patch so far this season, not the most changes. I think it was like 10 characters again, which is honestly I think is ends up being on the higher side. But of course, with this being the final patch and of course the release of the final DLC character in Ilsa, figure it's about time to make what's probably going to end up being my final Season 2 tier list for Granblue Rising. I'll be perfectly honest, I have not seen anybody play the EX characters. Since they came out, I might have run into them maybe a couple times, and I don't really see people playing them, so I don't really have an informed opinion on them, so I'm kind of just going to put them out of in the bottom of the list to just get them out of the way. So that being said though, let's start with the top, who I believe is the best character in the game. To be surprised that no one of anyone who's seen me talk about this character and then what she can do, I believe the best character in the game, and that is Matera. My, how things have changed since the beginning of the game, huh? So besides the fact that she's got a really strong Pharrell, besides the fact that she's probably the best, that at least in my opinion, she's the best zoner in the game, besides the fact that she's got great corner pressure, really strong projectiles, an ultimate projectile that goes through all of the projectiles, U-Butterfly, which continues to be broken even to this day, even after its nerfs, she's just really good at giving what the game what the game decided to give us. She's really good at using and abusing Brave Counter, and she's really good at making sure the opponents never get the chance to do the same. And her pressure, when she puts you in the corner, she's almost never within range to actually use Brave Counter yourself. Then of course we're talking about people who are characters that are really good at abusing Brave Counter, and at least in the case of making people have to hesitate on when to use theirs, we'll go with number 2, and that is Vasusia. So both of these characters I had not at the top, but near the top going into this last patch. But the character that I'm just going to spoiler alert, is going to be next, and that's Leiva, who I did have as the best character, did get nerfed. Once he gets started, it's really difficult to stop. The fact that he's got all the armor, giant swings, grade normals. His U projectiles, just straight up one of the, if not the best projectile in the game now. Honestly, now, okay, probably not the best, but it's up there now. Great corner carry, great damage, and the fact that with the activation of Soulforge, getting you multiple shots at using armor. And in a similar case as Matera, one Brave Counter and boom, he's got it. And then the fact that since he can armor through other people's attempts at using it and then getting a full punish for it, just makes him absolutely freaking terrifying the second he gets Soulforge. And unless you throw a million projectiles and manage to catch him every time, or lock him down in the corner before he gets a chance to get started at all, and can play around the fact that one Brave Counter and he gets Soulforge, he is very difficult to prevent to have that happen. And once, like I said, once he gets started, it's not over, but it's pretty damn close. And then number 3 on the list, like I said from the spoiler, is still Leiva. So Leiva did get nerfed in this last patch. He got a few consistency changes with the changes to the different versions of Awesome Sauce. But the main thing is that his ultimate bros call, the Giant Flame Wheel, is no longer the end-all be-all. I'm going to call it in neutral, I'm going to call it on offense, I'm going to call it on defense, I'm going to call it on block strings, I'm going to call it at all times. Now it's just everything except for I'm going to call it when my opponent has me in a block string. Because now if you hit him within a certain time frame after he calls it, they will just go away. Is that enough to bring him down at all? Some people seem to think so. I heavily do not think so, because everything that was strong about him last patch is still strong about him. I honestly think he has the best offensive pressure in the game in the corner through the use of the different cat bots as well as all the bros calls to create a ridiculous amount of layers in terms of strike throw And even if you tech the throw, you're still stuck anyways because of the bros call. As more and more people discover new combos and new routes with him, they're finding out more and more ways for him to use 5U in combos. They're therefore giving him more HP and more meter, making him very difficult to kill. On top of that, on top of having pretty good normals, great corner carry. He basically just does everything really, really well. All right, next up, the big surprise of this patch for probably many people is the return of the man, the myth, the legend, and that is Siegfried. Am I overplaying it a little bit by putting him this high? Potentially. Do I care? No. Why? These changes were insane. Why? They gave him more damage. They gave him more routes. They gave him more corner carry. It doesn't require meter. His slam is now faster and goes further. He now has a BC bait that not only is a BC bait, but literally kills you with the parry effect on his ultimate swing. That also works really well against dealing with projectiles on top of that. And then speaking of dealing with projectiles, they added an extra hit of durability to his light and medium projectile to help him deal with, I don't even know what, everybody? Like every character with a projectile, I guess? He was already pretty good. Why did they do this? Next on the list, speaking of Shotos, because we love Shotos in this game, Beatrix. I'm not going to say much here, but what's been good about Beatrix? It was the same thing that was good last patch. Same thing that was good the patch before that, the patch before that, the patch before that, and oh yeah, the patch before that. She's kind of just been good forever. The only thing that fluctuates is where she is on the list, pretty much, because that can vary based on what everyone else happens. But the one thing that's been consistent for the better part now of a year and a half or something like that. I remember for however long it's been since she's come out, is that if there's a tier list happening, she is going to be in this top row for literally the same reason that she has been for a very long time now. And speaking of top tiers that have been top tier for a decent amount of time now, Fairy. So Fairy's been in an interesting spot since her round of nerfs, because everything that was strong about her is still really strong. None of that has changed. The only thing that's different now is that she doesn't auto-win neutral by losing neutral. I know that sounds kind of weird, but basically she lost her auto side switch, and then still puts you in left, right, high, low, throw, not throw, off basically every knockdown, on top of just being incredibly annoying as whip characters are known to be. Kagostro. So Kag is the definition of they thought her game plan was too strong and too linear, so they nerfed that game plan while still leaving it as pretty good, and then gave her new things. And her main game plan, of course, having been her traps, which all got a decent amount of nerfs in terms of how much time they now stay on screen. But in return, she got new and better combo routes, because they totally need to do that for every character that's not Grimnir. A top 2, top 3 character to now a arguable top 5, top 7 character is probably now where I'm seeing her with these changes. So, and then to round out the top 8, like I said, we would get to him. That is Grimnir. So Grimnir, he basically lost everything a few patches ago that made him outside of seals. So his tornado doesn't last as long anymore. So he lost most of his Oki options, and with 2-1 for you no longer wall bouncing, he no longer really has his corner carry outside of when he has seals already set up and available. So when he has seals already set up and available, he's basically pretty close to the same he has always been. Still has stupid high damage, still has some of the best strike throw mix in the game, still has a really good projectile, and despite the 2-1 for you no longer wall bouncing except for in the corner, it's now a incredibly degenerate move, now being only -4, making it just a move that Grimnir players now can and like to just throw out because they can, because there's no harm, no foul pretty much. So Grimnir, still very strong, still a great strike throw, still insanely high damage. He's just not the powerhouse he once was with his now lack of corner carry or his lack of setups. but he still does have the high-low setup, which everyone loves so much. So Grimnir, still top tier, still strong, just not quite what he used to be. And that's my top 8. That's going to be the only thing that is ordered on this list. So the rest of these are going to be unordered and just in long lines. So next up, we're going to talk about another character that's been known to basically be strong for, well, ever, and that is Belial. Don't really see much Belial anymore. I think as everyone falls away to some of these other top tier characters, for the main reason of the end-all be-all for Belial was how strong his projectile is and how great his normals are, especially his 2M. Or in the world of the game where we now have like the likes of Matera, Vasaraga, Luane, Kagostro, Fairy, Grimnir, these characters that can take advantage of Brave Counter pretty well to very well. Just having a good normals like 2M that are very Brave Counterable is not exactly enough to be a top tier anymore. That being said, though, still great normals, still great corner carry. Belial is basically the same he has been for quite some time. The difference is now just having some really good normals is not enough nowadays. Also, the changes to his projectile did definitely hurt. I cannot lie. Speaking of changes to his projectile, first of all, still very, very good, but in a similar sense as Belial, especially now with the nerfs to his ultimate flame carpet, his ultimate projectile, is the fact that since we have a characters that, just like I said with Belial, are really, really good at playing off of opponents after they get brave countered. Percival's main tool in his ultimate flame carpet now since being nerfed, basically being guaranteed the counter hit brave counter anytime he tries to do it, does hurt a lot more now than at any point before. Where before it was just a great tool to use at all times, and if they didn't brave counter early enough, you would actually just block it MB+. But now with the guaranteed counter hit rates, and then afterwards having to deal with Vasarago's Soul Forge, the Wayne Bros Call, Matera Butterflies, and all the stuff that can come from the brave counter, Percival does struggle a bit more from that. But struggle again is kind of an operative word, since hey, Flame Carpet, still really good. Still great normals. Very high damage. Great setups. 5U command grab. Still kind of awkward, but still pretty good. Multiple ways to set up plus frames. Good projectile. Still really good. Just falls a bit lower on the tier list than I used to have them, just because of the way the meta has evolved. And speaking of characters that have evolved, one of the big winners of this patch to go along with Siegfried, if not the biggest winner along with Siegfried, Zetta. How the mighty had fallen and then returned once more. So Zetta, her Rhapsody was already a very powerful and very annoying tool. Even post nerfs, Rhapsody was very strong. And now they decided to buff Rhapsody for some reason, buffing both the light and medium follow-ups on the light and medium versions of it, making an already annoying parry even more annoying. But on top of that, they made her both easier to use, which I'm all for, because she's a very cool character. The only thing that was holding her back, or people back from playing her, is the execution level of some of her corner-to-corner combos, but also the fact that they just straight up buffed her corner-to-corner combos and buffed her options, with the fact that now both her versions of her lariats now wall bounce. So she now has a stronger parry, better damage, better corner carry. So overall, just really, really good changes. And then on top of that, you can't really spot dodge her anymore with her medium projectile, because now her medium projectile along counter hit wall bounces that she can now confirm off of. Basically everything that you could possibly want for her got better. Oh, and by the way, her 2M is now 8 frames, so now she has a strong button on top of all that. I am glad to see her return. A character though that I don't like to see pop up basically ever Wildness. The best way I can describe fighting Wildness is I'm winning, I lost. Because he hurts. And not only does he hurt, his conversions are nice. His conversions are top notch. His an ultimate move that works in a similar sense to what Vera used to do, which is auto side switching into a full combo. For those of you guys who either don't have much experience against Wildness, I would recommend go to training mode and learn the difference between the high and the low. Because if not, you are going to be feeling the wrath of the fire dragon. Now let's go the opposite of fire. Lancelot. Lancelot, top tier when the game came out. First Arc Tour champion for this game, Lancelot. And then he got nerfed. And then he basically disappeared for a long time. And now he got a bunch of buffs. Now his strings are better. His damage is better. He now basically has full screen teleports. But now he has an easier time getting in. And when he does get these hits, he makes them count so much more. The more I look at this roster and the tier list, the more that some of these characters that I'm now putting on top really were bad when the game first came out. Catalina. So I have a slightly higher opinion on Catalina than most. I still think she's strong, even though more people seem to believe that, or seem to hear from people that she's more mid. My reason behind it is that she still has really good normals, even with the changes to 5 view. It's still a really strong tool. Great hit confirm options. Great corner carry. 5 view being an option to brave counter. Basically, it makes her stagger strings even more scary to deal with, since you can't really since anytime you want to brave counter, you do so at your own risk against her. So she still does a lot of things really well, on top of having a 9-frame DP and some really solid projectiles. She's just overall, I believe, a very strong character. Speaking of characters that are just really good, this one being plus frames for days, Sorz. Again, the only issue with him is he's going to get brave countered, and guess what? The top characters loved using brave counters. Besides that, though, plus frames for days, great normals. After his buff to his install, he now heals himself when he goes into it. Basically, the only thing holding him back is the game's mechanic of brave counter, really. Eustace, the weaker zoner. Grenade, busted as hell. Really strong projectiles. A charge projectile that goes to other projectiles. Really good pressure. Really good corner carry if you're willing to either spend a brave counter or you catch them crouching. Red Grenade and Grenade are both incredibly powerful tools. Great spot dodge baits, and with his other grenade options, just really good pressure as in a character that's designed to be, well, kind of designed to be a zoner, but he's kind of a mix. He's kind of a mixed zoner, mix of rush down and zoner with the likes of his lariat tool as well. Vera, a character, I'll be honest, I wasn't the most high on. But everyone talks so highly of her that I started to listen a little more. And alright, fine, I'll admit, she's actually pretty good. In a sense of a Luane, with the bros calls her with a cat bot, when she has you in the corner, really scary pressure to deal with. 9-frame DP. Once she transforms, she becomes a bit of a monster. And by a bit of a monster, I mean very much one. Great anti-airs, good normals, lots of plus frames, great corner carry, great damage. Currently is now the easiest time she's ever had reaching that point. Honestly, I didn't think very highly of her, but I'm starting to have my mind changed. One of the big winners of the previous patch, Zoe. One of the only bad things about her before was her lack of damage and her lack of mid-screen options. She now has actually pretty damn good mid-screen combos with the changes to her EX jumping attack. And not only that, there's also really good. It's also really solid anti-air game as well. She already had really good pressure in the corner. Basically, a situation of once she has you blocking, you're kind of just stuck until she runs out of dragon meter. 6/6H continues to be an absolute menace, and she pretty much gained one of the only things she was missing. And now that she has it, we're starting to see more exactly what she can do, and I am all for it because dragons are cool. Lastly, to round out the S tier, Narmaya. Flip is still very strong. Flip is still really strong. So great strike throw from that. Her ultimate projectile causing a crumble. Not quite Catalina levels, but still a really good tool. Great pressure, good normals. Ultimate flip is a great 2H bait as well as a great anti-projectile tool. She's just really good at basically dealing with just about anything an opponent could have. On top of her two stances being one being a parry and one being a regular DP, also allowing you to basically cover everything with that as well. She basically can do everything and cover basically everything. And she's not really the best at anything, but she can basically do everything. All right, now moving down to A tier, we're gonna start with Vasusia. So the issue with the Vasusia, nothing really that comes from her. It's kinda just the meta. She doesn't really like it. Basically, what I hear, her worst matchups are the likes of the zoner characters, right? It's like of the Eustaces, of the Materas, of the fairies, and the fact that they're now, well, kinda everywhere. It's kind of an issue. Probably has trouble dealing with Luane. Rush her one hit projectiles aren't exactly going to help very much against Vasaraga armor. So it's great corner carry when she has her 5U stocked up. Her 214H with the stock is a really good get in tool, and 2L being plus on block is still a crazy stagger option. It's just she has a much more difficult time getting started now than she has probably at any point since her release. So she's still a good pick. She just kind of struggles a bit more in today's meta. Let's see here. Anila. Good buffs. Good buffs. The improvements to her combos, the improvement to her sheep, the improvement to the flip. She just got a good buff to everything. It just wasn't quite enough to move her up to the top tiers, pretty much. It's like she's kind of like the trademark definition of bottom tier character, got good buffs, now she's solid and playable. That's basically what happened to Anila. Speaking of solid and playable, I'm just going to put the two of them together. Zetta and Gran. They're kind of all over the place, honestly. When I see people's opinions on these characters, some people say they're S tier, incredibly strong. Some say they're B tier, mad tier, C tier, whatever. I'm kind of more in the middle on it. They're basically doing their job. They're the good go-to. I'm trying to learn the game character. Not exactly great at anything. Not exactly bad at anything. They are just good characters that do exactly what they are designed to do, which is basically be Shoto characters. Speaking of the opposite of what this game is designed for, though, 2B. I have a ton of biases towards her because of that. I kind of have a hard time placing her. Because she could be higher, she could be lower. Honestly, as a Grimnir player, it's kind of hard to tell because dealing with her giant swings is very, very annoying. Giant swings are still giant swings. Her medium auto combo is still very strong. Having 16 different specials does allow her to help cover a lot of things, and having a double jump plus her giant jumping heavy, as well as having the floats, can help bait out a lot of things. That being said, though, not that good for corner carry without meter, and even with it, it's kind of just okay for the most part, and still tends to struggle in the damage department, and is very, very, very meter reliant. Not the 0 to 100%, but her 10 bars that allow her to use her specials. She doesn't, even though it's slightly better now than it was before, she still is very hungry for it and kind of lacks the ability to do much in a lot of situations if you get greedy and start spending it. Good buffs to Lucilius. Did they do a ton? I don't personally think so. The changes to make his blade level go up faster the longer you hold the stance. I don't think is going to do anything whatsoever. So some solid changes that did move him up again a bit. He went from mid to broken to bad. Now I think he's mid to solid. So good changes. Wasn't enough to bring him anywhere close to his former glory, but still definitely some nice changes to him. Sandy. Sandalphon. I will continue to say this, such a wasted potential. He was on the verge of greatness. They could have done so much with all the element swaps. Some interesting changes. He basically went from, let's be honest, having 2 forms to like 2.5 forms, right? So it's like where it's like before all you ever used was light and fire. Now there might be a reason to use water. Sometimes. Maybe. Solid character, solid Shoto. Stance is still pretty good. Good projectile, good normals. Just good in a lot of things. Just could have been so much more. Seox. I'm confused with him. I go from like the patch notes drop, and then I see everyone freaking out. Oh, Seox is so buffed. Oh, this is so much better now. This is gonna be so good. And then 5 minutes later, oh, they ruined everything. Oh, this character is terrible. Oh, they killed him. So I'll be honest. Then like I kind of want to make an I don't know tier and just put Seox in it because I'm really confused. So for the most part, I'm kind of keeping Seox in a relatively similar spot to where I had him last patch, even though he did get some changes. But he really doesn't seem all that much different. But at the same time, I don't exactly fight him all that often, so it's kind of hard to tell. Let's see here. Elsa, our newest and final DLC of Season 2. She seems good. She seems pretty good. Really good corner carry, solid pressure. The nuke, her ultimate missile ranges from broken to terrible because for some reason even throw techs get rid of it. So she's kind of just a worse Eustace is honestly probably the best way I can put it. It's like she's Eustace, but her bullets are both better and worse since her bullet is faster than her regular bullet is faster than Eustace's, but her charged one doesn't beat projectiles like Eustace's does. Although Ilsa's corner carry is better, but Eustace's damage is better. I don't know, she really is just kind of a weaker Eustace, but kind of like Eustace. She is still pretty cool though. This is a pretty early opinion for the most part. We'll see as time goes on and people discover more about her. Bubs. Probably the character I have hated on more than any other character in this game across my time playing this game, if we're being perfectly honest. The rise in Shotos are not good for him. Characters that are really good at anti-airing or having really fast U projectiles. That being said though, pretty good damage. Arrows when able to get set up, really strong. Ability to set up unblockable situations. Whether you spot dodge or you block the different arrows. He does have really good tools, and also of course the plus unblock dive kick. In a similar sense as Vasusia, the change in the meta has definitely hit him one of the hardest because of who has become strong. All right, we'll go to the B tier. Meg. You guys remember that Meg came out? Me neither. She kind of just showed up, was popular when she showed up, and then that was it. Honestly, it wasn't for the fact that Gamera keeps pulling her out at tournaments. I honestly probably would forget that Meg even showed up for the game. Really cool design. Big fan of the shark. Shark pressure is still pretty good, and some decent normals. But she's kind of lacking in a lot of things, honestly. Shark pressure is literally her only pressure. Many characters have options that basically guarantee her RPS loses no matter what. And especially if they have 100%, then it's almost a guarantee for a lot of characters that their super is just going to kill her if she even attempts to do so. And Mari, another situation of so much potential with the likes of Mari and with the 5U and the multiple follow-ups. So much potential what they could have done for setups and mix-ups. Instead what it is just a slow activation and then slow firing of the Mari gun. And that's just, let's admit it, it's honestly next to useless in anything outside of Oki situations. Honore. Who would have guessed that going into this patch, Honore would be one of the biggest losers. He did get some buffs to his forward skill, the staff twirl, plus the slam. Both a nerf and a buff in the case that his aerial Beyblade now ground bounces. It's a buff in the case that if you hit someone in the air, and then you do it, you will get a full combo from it. But also a nerf, because if you hit someone on the ground with it, your combo is going to be much worse than it once was. And then, of course, the bigger changes, it's no longer plus, which, why? And then the bigger change, and then the biggest change for me personally, because I love his install to death, if he gets hit, he starts losing spears. So, it's like, we had Sorz and we had Vera. They were probably the two with they're probably the two, like, only real good installs outside of Honore, and basically, and Sorz is just because A, it heals him, B, it makes him tankier, and C, it gives him access to the command grab SSBA, so if he wants to do the SSB, he has to do it anyways. And Vera just straight up transforms and becomes a way better character when she does it. Honore just gets some spears, so it's very different than those two, but it's still probably the best one. And now it's just worse. Speaking of not great, but not in the med tier or in the bottom tier anymore, Gallion. It might be because I play Grimnir, right? Like, I'll be honest here. It might be because I play Grimnir, but the changes are really good. Don't get me wrong, the changes are really good. She's not, like, in my opinion, she's now probably a character. She's definitely a character now, but she still requires a lot of things to go right. Still requires specific setups for a lot of things. But the 5U change causing the crumple, only giving up 2 levels on the circles to cause rocks, improving her combos. There's definitely really good changes they gave her. I just don't think it is enough currently. But again, I play a character that counters hers. So this is probably the one I'm most likely to be wrong on, if I'm being honest. Charlotta. Her jump is annoying. That's about it. Her jump is annoying. She's tiny with a small sword, so not great normals. Her anti game honestly kind of sucks. Light Holy Ladder is an abomination of a move, and if we're going strictly off of who has the best one special in the game, she'd be way higher because of that Light Holy Ladder, but she's definitely not great. Vayne. Vayne will either be really strong or really bad, and it all kind of comes down to the matchup. Because what does he do? He stands behind a shield and swings a lot. Does your character deal with the shield? Yes? Okay. Vayne's toast. Does your character not deal with the shield very well? Okay. He has a chance. He lives and dies based on whether or not he can get the shield up, and whether it's going to actually be useful. And that's kind of a shame, honestly. Vikola. So Vikola still has some of the issues, but they definitely did address some of her bigger issues, which is the recovery on some of her normals. Honestly, the main thing that just about all of us said is something that she needed changed from the moment that we got a chance to try her out. She got better combo routes with the changes to her cannon, and the changes to the item system are really, really good. Like if you get stuck in the corner against Vikola now, it's honestly can be, again I say can be because of course it is item reliant, but it can be very much like a Matera situation, where you're just stuck taking chip damage after chip damage after chip damage, and you just have to make a read or make a call to try and escape if you want to get out. Otherwise, you're just going to eat so much chip damage from it. Alright, last character for B tier, UL. UL. Invincibility on backflip stance. Cool. Great. Unreactable overhead. Cool. Great. What, do you thought there was more? There really isn't. Even with the invincibility, going backwards is nice, but she probably needs some invincibility going forward. so then she can get the pressure going. That's probably more so what she needs rather than backing away. But maybe that'll be sometime in the future. But for now, unfortunately for the followers of the Yip Yip, she's going to continue to suffer from projectiles being tossed at her literally 24/7. All right, and now down to the bottom tier, which I didn't want to say C, which I didn't want to say B minus. I'm kind of saying I'm just made it meh because they're not bad characters. It's just kind of meh. So first up, the one I continue to be sad every time I have to make one of these and put him in the lowest tier, and that's Avatar, because he is so cool, has such great design, his kit is so strong, he is just so terribly designed. Like, my god, he is just such a terribly designed character. He's got no HP, and he's constantly hurting himself. Like I said, he is the opposite of Wildness. I am winning, I am winning, I am winning, and because I am winning, I am one hit from death. It'd be different if the game's damage wasn't like really high, right? Like if people were doing 3,000 damage, 4,000 damage a combo, right? But we're seeing people hitting 9, 10, 11,000 damage in combos when they have supers available. If Avatar puts you down to, it gets you down to your point where you're in SSBA, one good hit is basically 80-90% of Avatar's HP. Even though his kit screams A tier, S tier, hell, maybe even top tier. It's just the design that just says, hey, I am here to play a first to one. And that is just really unfortunate for, at least in my opinion, one of this game's coolest characters. Leiva, she's a grappler in a world of projectiles. And unlike Gallion at least now has like these full screen slams, or just 5 U's, or jumping rocks, or just options potentially to deal with the world of projectiles. Leiva has a headbutt, which depending on when it's used could just get punished for even attempting to do it. She's slow. She's not good at getting in, and the only way she has of getting in besides just running forward is her lariat, which is duckable, or in the case of the ultimate version, spot dodgeable. And so the odds are she's just going to end up getting punished for even trying to do it. That being said, though, if she gets a hit, she's got good damage and really good corner carry, and because she's a grappler, you are basically guessing at all times whether or not she's going to throw you. It's just really, really, really difficult for her to get to that point. Will she ever be good? Personally, I don't hope so. Unless you play said archetype, you never want a grappler or a zoner to be good. But for right now, she will continue to be sitting at the lowest rung, along with Nier, and at this point we all know why. She was broken beyond belief on release. They reworked her, and during said rework, they destroyed her, and she has not been the same since. And no changes they have made since that day has done anything to make it any better. And nothing short of a massive line of buffs or another rework to her third iteration will end up changing that fact. And that is the last character. That is what's going to end up being probably my final season 2 tier list. And so what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with most of this stuff? Am I dead wrong on a bunch of things? I still believe to this day that Granblue probably is one of the most balanced fighting games across the entire FGC, but only time will tell. Like I said, that is my tier list. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you guys are hoping for in a potential season 3 announcement that could be happening next month at the World Finals. Until then, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.